happy Friday and happy Spirit Day. So I'm here to show you what our Spirit Day art project is going to be this year. So because our theme is Spirit of Curiosity, and because our One Book, One School was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I decided that we should make some really cool Model Magic candy creations. So I'm going to show you how to make this little mini ice cream sundae, or you could also make a little mini donut, or you could try making a little mini Pop-Tart. So I'm going to show you how to make all three things, and you can pick one of them to make, or you can come up with your own candy creation as well. Okay, so let's color our Model Magic. We're going to open the pack with our hands or a scissor, and then we're going to squish it back and forth to warm it up a bit. It can be a little stiff, so we're just going to use our hands to squish it back and forth like it's slime. And then once you have it pretty squishy, we're going to flatten it out on the table, and then we're going to pick the color we want to change it to. So right now I'm using purple, and I'm just going to gently color on top of the Model Magic, being careful not to push too hard. Once you have the entire front of it colored, now we're going to lift it up and we're going to fold it like a taco, and we're going to pull and squish, pull and squish, pull and squish until it starts to change color. Now this might take a little while. You got to use your finger muscles here. And remember, you're not coloring on paper, you're coloring on Model Magic. So the color's going to be pretty light. So you are going to have to color it a couple more times. So to do it again, flatten it out on the table, take your color, add it on top, make sure you get all the top colored in, and then you're going to fold it in half like a taco, and you're going to pull and squish, pull and squish. It will start to get darker, and the more times you do this, the darker the Model Magic will become. But just remember, the color will be pretty light, and that's okay. You can always color on top of it. To make the first scoop of the ice cream, we're going to want to roll our first color into a ball. And you can do that in your hands or on the table, and keep rolling until you have the shape that you like. Then we're going to place it in the bottom of our cup. And now for the second scoop, we're going to take our second color and again, roll it into a ball. You can use your hand or the table to help you. Once you have the shape you like, gently squish it on top of your first ice cream scoop and make sure it's really stuck down. Now you can start adding different types of toppings. Right now I'm adding a cherry on top. You can add a stem as well. And then I'm going to use my little chocolate mold to make a little chocolate bar to add to my ice cream. And to do that, take whatever color Model Magic you want, flatten it out a bit, and then squish it into the mold. You want to press your fingers down so that it really gets stuck into that mold, and then gently peel it off. And then using your scissors, you're going to want to trim the edges and get rid of all that extra Model Magic because we won't need it. But you can save it for a different project or adding different toppings with it as well. And then just gently place it on top of your ice cream, tapping it down. And if you want it to be a bit darker, just add marker on top. To make our donut, we're going to roll our Model Magic into a ball, and then gently we're going to place it on the table and flatten it down just a little bit. Using a marker or a Sharpie, we're going to poke a hole straight through the middle, and we're going to make sure it goes all the way through. Now using your finger, you're just going to make the hole a little bit wider so it looks more like a donut shape. To make the icing on top, we're going to take our other Model Magic that we colored and flatten it out a little bit. We're going to gently place it on top of our donut and poke another hole on the top using that marker and just go all the way through. Now once you have the hole in place, you can now start pulling that Model Magic to make the dripping effect. Just gently pull it. Now once you have the icing how you'd like it to look, now we can start adding the toppings to our donut. To make our Pop-Tart, we're going to take that same Model Magic and roll it into a ball, only this time we're going to flatten it out into a rectangular shape. Now this is probably going to be the hardest shape to make because it is a little unusual, but just keep pulling the Model Magic until you have a rectangle for your Pop-Tart. Using the end of a scissor, you can add the crimping that you usually see on a Pop-Tart going all the way around. You just want to be extra careful when doing this. And then it's time for the icing. So take your other colored Model Magic, roll it into a ball, and then flatten it out and pull it apart, and then just gently place it on top of your Pop-Tart, moving it around to however you want the icing to look. And then once you have everything in place, now you can add the icing and any other type of toppings to your Pop-Tart that you wish. Okay, so once you're done with your candy creations, there will be a scrap piece of paper for you to write your name on along with a Sharpie. And that's just to make sure that we know your candy creation is yours. So you're going to place whatever you have finished on that paper, and you can leave it on your desk to dry. And there's also going to be a plastic baggie. This is for any extra Model Magic you might have that you didn't use and maybe you want to save for later. Just make sure you put your name on your plastic baggie as well, and place all of that extra Model Magic into the baggie, and make sure it is zipped and closed tight, because if it's not, the Model Magic will dry out. And then you can take the rest home to use however you want. All right, well, I hope you had fun, guys. I can't wait to see your creations. Bye.